There is a threat to Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's uninterrupted reign as president since 2014, and the name of the threat is Kemal Kilicdaroglu of Turkey's Republican People's Party, or the CHP. As the presidential candidate he campaigns, a sea of people is there supporting him. Kemal, the Turkish opposition candidate, will challenge Recep Tayyip Erdogan at the polls on the 14th of May, and he smilingly promises the return of spring. Welcome to Buzz Around the World by India Today. In today's video, we focus on the rise of the political threat to hardliner President of Turkey, Erdogan. With almost a month to go before the Turkish presidential election, Kemal, the main opponent of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, holds a rally in front of several thousand supporters in the northwestern city of Çanakkale. Polls predict a close election, with some opinion polls showing Kemal, the candidate of the alliance of 6 opposition parties, winning the second round. The opposition bloc has vowed to reverse many of Erdogan's policies on the economy, civil rights and foreign affairs in what many see as the most consequential election in the republic's 100-year history. The opposition has cooperated more closely since its success in 2019 in taking control of Istanbul, Ankara and other big cities from the AKP, Erdogan's party, in elections. Kemal is 74-year-old and the head of the country's second biggest party. He is a former civil servant. Kemal could take advantage of years of economic crisis and soaring inflation, as well as last month's devastating earthquakes in the south that killed more than 46,000 people brought criticism of the state's response. Yet some doubt that the feisty former economist who climbed the ranks as a corruption fighter can defeat Erdogan, Turkey's longest-serving leader whose campaigning charisma has helped achieve more than a dozen election victories. Although, even before the earthquakes, Erdogan had seen his popularity dip amid a cost-of-living crisis in which inflation soared as high as 85%. Erdogan has never faced a serious electoral threat since his AKP was elected in 2002. Since then, he has increasingly shaped Turkey to his vision of a pious, conservative society and assertive regional military power. The opposition has pledged to revoke the powerful executive presidency he created, returning Turkey to parliamentary democracy and restoring independence to a central bank that implemented his call for low interest rates, driving economic growth but crashing the lira and stoking inflation. Erdogan saw his popularity peak after the Turkey military coup of 2016. It was an unsuccessful attempt by a faction within the Turkish armed forces to overthrow the government. The coup attempt took place on the night of July 15, 2016, and continued into the early hours of July 16. The coup began with the takeover of key infrastructure, including bridges, airports, and media outlets in Istanbul and Ankara. Tanks rolled onto the streets, and military jets were seen flying low over the cities. However, the coup attempt quickly began to falter, as many in the military remained loyal to Erdogan, and the police and intelligence agencies were not involved in the coup. The public response also played a crucial role in thwarting the coup, as thousands of people heeded Erdogan's call to take to the streets and resist the coup plotters. The failed coup attempt had several consequences that ultimately helped Erdogan to consolidate power. In the aftermath, the government declared a state of emergency, allowing Erdogan to rule by decree and bypass parliamentary oversight. The government also embarked on a massive purge of perceived opponents, arresting thousands of military personnel, civil servants, judges, academics, and journalists. In 2017, a controversial constitutional referendum took place, leading to the adoption of a presidential system that significantly expanded Erdogan's powers, including the ability to dissolve parliament, appoint ministers, and issue decrees. Erdogan's government has become more authoritarian, cracking down on dissent, curbing press freedom, and undermining the independence of the judiciary. The failed coup provided Erdogan with an opportunity to eliminate potential threats to his rule and consolidate power, which has raised concerns about the future of democracy and human rights in Turkey. Kemal, a vocal critic of President Erdogan, has challenged the president on numerous fronts, such as the erosion of democratic institutions, the crackdown on press freedom, the increasing authoritarianism, and the handling of the economy. In 2017, he organized the Justice March from Ankara to Istanbul, covering 280 miles in 25 days. The march was in response to the arrest of a CHP lawmaker and attracted widespread support from various segments of society. But it is not going to be easy for Kemal to dislodge Erdogan. His leadership has faced internal criticism from some factions within the CHP, who argue that a more charismatic and assertive leader is needed to effectively challenge Erdogan. But the crowds and polls in Turkey show that the tough-talking authoritarian president should not expect a cakewalk in the elections this time. Do tell us what you think about this video in the comments section, and for more news updates subscribe to India Today.